Hey guys, how are you? And thank you everyone for posting various stocks really. And the ones that that you have posted is it's actually quite good. So I can understand why you're asking into those because they do have something to look for and setup that is definitely worth noting and following. So really good one on those on that part really. So yeah. OBE here, we'll, again, straight off the bat, no playing around. We have 20 stocks, so let's do it. OBE here is a stock that we have been tracking and also covering quite a few times, but that's totally fine because the setup in my book is still very fine here. The only, I wouldn't say downside because it's not a downside, but the left shoulder, excuse me, the right shoulder is a bit not head and shoulder heavy, but again, it's a major bull flag after this run up here. So once we start to trade north, roughly, 7.5, 7.7, we're breaking the 3-year flag, and we are most likely gonna attack the neckline, pull back, and then we go. So yeah, a long wait here, but it's definitely coming to fruition, I think soon, because we have some internal stuff that could break very, very shortly as well. So again, don't buy it here. We need to wait for the confirmation. Roughly 7.5, give or take, should do it. So yeah, really good chart. And if you're long already from the run up here, I wish that was me, by the way. But if you are, um, I would expect more upside because I'm fully expecting this one to break at some point in time. This would have been a killer stock if it had paid like 5% dividend, right, while waiting. So EXN, the Echelon Resources, is precious metals, and it has underperformed massively. Uh, no question about that. Do we have a split there? We could have a split there. It's a split. Just 1 second here, guys. 1 second here. So yeah, I just had to check if again if it should be adjusting for splits. So maybe this doesn't look as bad because I think if we do some theory here, if that is adjusted for, this whole thing should lift up. Therefore, these lows here should connect to the lows of that lower trend line. And therefore, this break above that level, in this case, it's 0.26. Of course, it's higher. It's somewhere up here, roughly, I don't know, zero point 0.8. Um, and then we have a perfect, downtrend where we are bottoming out, in my view. So it again, you can buy this, I think, roughly above 26 cents or so. Again, keep in mind, again, the auto adjustment for the split here. Keep that in mind, by the way. SID here is a 14% dividend stock, and it's steel, and it's definitely one where I'm very intrigued by the whole thing. Um, and we have, of course, we have the long-term setup, which is, we call it bread and butter, this perfectly wedge here. And now we need to hold right where we are. And as you can see, we have basically no room left. Major support, short-term downtrend resistance. Therefore, it's very clear in my view. We need to break the blue. And your stop will always be the lower golden. So if you're aggressive, I wouldn't even say aggressive, but you can buy the internal here. That would be roughly an 18-month breakout. And then again, we're gonna attack the green. And then again, if that can break, boom, all of a sudden you have a gorgeous entry, 14% dividend. And again, if you buy on the break here initially, I would say your stop is roughly 1.24. You're getting in at 1.52-ish. And again, insanely favored risk and reward. We can do the overlay here. So we're going long roughly there. And hopefully our stop loss is not all the way down to there. That would not be good. So we would do, whoa, trading view. I need your support. You're messing with me here. Something like that. So you're risking 20%. But even to get to the upper side of the fractal, you're having 300%. And I fully believe, again, I've seen it over and over. If we go to there, we will most likely pull back. And then you know what I'm going to say. I will call this one here, maybe even two, three, four, five. And then again, you have a lot more upside. And Again, you could measure this one here. You could be talking $50. But again, if I were to buy this, and I'm actually very contemplating doing that, I would personally, I think I'm gonna sell everything at 25 if we get to 25, of course. But the risk there, again, no matter if you're right or wrong, it doesn't really matter in this case. What matters is you respect the stop loss, which is roughly 1.17, give or take, right below the golden here. I would give it some wiggle. I really want to, even though we break the golden here, we have lows there, so I want to give it a bit of a wiggle. And again, if we're getting stopped out and it's gonna get back in, you buy straight away again. So yeah, I really enjoy this one here. 14% dividend, huge upside, and I'm definitely, again, it's a good one, guys. So if there's there are more, but one takeaway from this one here, if you want a stock that has, why did I do that? That has a lot of upside and 14% dividend still, this one could be it. Again, respect the stop loss. That is what, again, risk reward and the entry, that's important. If you're not that risky with or aggressive, you want to wait for the green to buy, and then you're basically going long at like $2 with the expectations of that. So SID, yes, it's a good one. Where are they located, by the way? SA New York. What is it? What company? Where do they? Steel, and more steel. Brazil. Okay, cool. Brazil. I'm a fan. SID, yes, a good one. A really good one here. CPR, that is Cabral Gold. It's not a, I would probably never buy into this one at this moment. There were some entries here at, again, April 2024, which this was actually on when I looked it up here. So there has been, we have done some research. The entry would have been, again, roughly 18 cents, and we are now up at roughly 40. What I could see, though, if we remove the entire canvas, and then it becomes a good entry, in my view, is because we have this high low, right? And let's say this is the top for it now. We don't know, but let's assume that's the top. It might be a little bit higher, but like that. Then you can start to see where you're getting the good stuff coming our way, right? Meaning we could pull back. We might snipe an entry here, but then if we break roughly again, yeah, 42 in this case, but it's just a like a theory. If we get this kind of setup here where we get the pullback and we break, perfect entry. Beautiful. First target will be roughly 70, excuse me, 90 cents, but ultimately you're probably getting more out of it. But for now, right here, right now, there's nothing for me really. I want to see more built up, which again, we need the entry to get in. We need the excuse in order to get in. We're not going in blindly here, even though it looks good over time, it should go higher. We don't go long. SU, that is Suncor Energy. Very, tight range uptrend here. And then all of a sudden, it's getting, all over the place. This is 2008. You had COVID here, which has then framed a large flag here. Again, we have one here, two, three, confirmed flag in my view. And now we're grinding here. We're grinding the upper end of the flag. And I will say this is actually a big entry because we have double resistance breakage at that level, which is, it's funny, right? 42.8, fair enough. But 42, 43 and above, let's call it 43. Inverted head and shoulders with a flag at the end. 43 in this stock here is a killer of an entry. Suncor Energy. 5% dividend along the way. Initially, we target 75, the triangle high, and all-time high in this case. But ultimately, you could also add the entire range on top here. I'm not going to say that we're going to measure the bull flag here because in my view, it's not a bull flag, even though it probably is. But again, such a tight little pole compared to the very large flag. I think it's out of proportion. So I'm not going to do any measures from that part. But yeah, 43, 43, 44, depending, it looks fantastic. Could we do the head and shoulders? I think this one is very valid, right? Yeah, of course it connects because it's the low. But yeah, we could see, I say could because again, we don't really want to do the big, hype targets. But the target of that, if we are really on the right side here, is roughly 160, excuse me, 180. Your entry will be 43 um, dollars. Beautiful. Really good one. Again, also a good one here. You know, one this EXK. We have been talking about this. It has all the recipes. We're just gonna do this like that. You know the deal. Again, this one is one that you can study, I think, for identifying. Again, there's more to it, I know, but when identifying, in this case, it's a 20-year wedge breakout, but we really like the 3-year, plus minus a few. This one here, again, once we start to trade north of roughly, I will take that high because then we break. So $6 and above, go long. By all means, go long. Then we break the resistance there from 2018, and of course the important trend line there. So if we want to give it a little bit of wiggle to be sure, maybe 6.4, but I think you get the idea that this wedge here breaking to the upside, that is an entry we want to take every day, every single day. TLG, I would never, well, never is a big word, but I would most likely never go into a stock like this. It's just, I know there are some symmetry to it, but again, it's not what I usually look for. But I still believe that if and when we break roughly almost $1, then again, you've broken this resistance zone, and we are most likely gonna do that. So, but until then, there's nothing for me really. And even if we break the red, I would actually prefer to see, the upper there getting broken before doing anything. So 115, within like half a year, then maybe, but not for now. Similar here again, you can see the overall wedge, right? It's still big puke there, and then you have the tariff thing here. Not even tariff, that's actually earlier. But yeah, I like it here. False breakdown from this formation. Internal breakage, that is a 4-year breakout happening now. You're getting 4%. I still like it here, just like the EWC, their overall Brazilian ETF. This is the small cap EWC. I like it here. It's a good one. And for the long term dividend portfolio, if you had that, and you want to be exposed to, emerging markets, in this case Brazil, it's a really good option. Again, you can buy pullbacks, you can do whatever as long as we hold that option really. But this one here should be the precursor with the false breakdown of that. Boom. Looks good. Looks fantastic. AGAG, Agenta Silver, small guy. And I want to switch to Heikin because it's so thinly traded. So again, be a bit careful. Um, but again, I think roughly above 40 cents. Again, I know we only have one line on, and again, you can't really do targets. But again, whenever we break like a 4-year resistance like that, that means something. So to the guy or girl, of course, who wants to go long in this one here, I would sprinkle a little bit once we clear 140, maybe want to wait for 146, excuse me, 0.46. Um, but I think you get the idea. Breaking that is a good one. And there's also something else that, again, if we get, and then it comes a better, a not a better, but a more exciting setup. Because if we do that, and this is that low, we could see, what we're looking for. Ooh, then all of a sudden, right, then we know that it's a good one. And potentially that is the precursor breakout for that. We don't really know yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this over the next 1 year, and then you get a break at roughly 90 cents. Again, it depends on the speed, but roughly 90 cents, especially if we confirm here on the third, we pull back. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 100% confirmed trend line. You pull back, and then you break on the fourth. We have seen it over and over again. Then it's actually a good entry for sure. This one here, a bit, I wouldn't say risky or aggressive, but it's, we still need a little bit more given again, very thinly traded, even though it's a 15-year-old. So, but yeah, Still, it has potential. Pay here. Again, look at this, the gold, excuse me, the oil stocks here. Again, just completely collapsed from like 40 to basically $1, basically going to zero. And then from $1, boom, to 18. Beautiful pennant here, breakout back test, testing. You can see it here again. The technicals are pretty beautiful on this one, to be honest here. The breakout, the back testing, testing triangle highs. You can see resistance, resistance, finally go. We haven't really been testing that high. So if we get down to like 17 again, 17, $18, that is actually a place to go along with a stop below, of course. I wouldn't buy it here this late. Not late, but I would never buy it up there. You could buy the retest, and or if you're long already, by all means, be so. And 7% dividend. Imagine getting this move and 7% dividend for 4 years while it does nothing. That's Then it's okay to hold a stock for that long, right? SVE also have a lot of good things going for it. And again, we have what we're looking for. As you know, this there are versions of it, but this kind of wedging where you get the perfect count, the symmetry, all that good stuff, that is when I'm excited. And this one here is definitely worth looking into because we have that. And you can see here, once we break this one, this little blue rail here at roughly 37 cents, maybe 40 cents, then we rally to here in my book. Again, it's basically, the same thing that I've been showing, but I see this over and over again. And this kind of setup here, of course, there are more to it, I know, but this kind of setup to me has been by far the most successful one. You can look at LEU, where we did the entry. You can look at, what is it, DRD. You can look at MKO. What is it, RDS is good. So that setup, I love that. And again, that's when I pile in when I see the perfect symmetry and all that. That's when this is a good one, most likely. Again, we could be wrong, but most likely this is a good one. And the good thing is, I've seen this pattern so many times that when and if we are incorrect, I actually know when, we might have to hit our stop loss is hit, we lose 10%, whatever, and we're out. And we wait to see what happens. Again, I like this one here. I could see that one go to there, maybe do a full back test, and then we go. So yeah, I love that chart really. This one here, FLV, I would, again, I, when I say this, when I say I'm most likely not going to invest into a stock like this. This might, again, it could be one of those because it's so insanely volatile. But as you can see, there still has been entries. I didn't take these. There has been entries. And the only thing that I'm really excited about on the chart is actually that entry there. I wish I would have seen that because that is, again, similar. We have the big surge, and then you're getting almost the exact same. We didn't touch it, but again, you get the idea. We got almost the exact same setup. And once we broke roughly 64 cents, massive breakout, massive retest, grinding higher. So yeah, but now, again, if you're long, fine, by all means. I still believe we're going to go to all-time highs there. When I would cut my position in half at least at that point in time. Um, but yeah, I'm never gonna buy it here. I would never ever do that. So HMY, that is Harmony Gold, um, and yeah, we have the big resistance here. We have almost like three on top here, um, and then we have this blue uptrend here, which is again we have one spike there, second high there, and then we could have the third high here, meaning big resistance here, and we need to break this golden here in order to rally more. If we can do that, even though it's not confirmed, I could see us going to roughly 30 here. But it needs to break the golden, and it needs to hold the blue here. Let's say we are getting stopped here. I mean, we're getting pulled back, and then we break the blue. That will, in my view, be your entry. And then you want to go really long on a break there So it's still healthy. Again, we are in a 3-year uptrend. That's never to complain about. And we're hitting the biggest resistance on the chart. So um, yeah, expect a fight always there, when you hit the biggest of the biggest trend lines on the chart. So veil, let's do veil here. Um, I will remove this just quickly here because I want to give you again a good, in my view, what I think is worth noting into, and that is that. So veil, we looked at, we were really excited about veil, very, very excited, because we had a lot of good things going for us, and that is multi-year breakout, right? Multi-year breakout. Again, forget about all that. We broke out, perfect. Big back test. This sucks, I know. But this one here, oh boy, it's beautiful. And we were just waiting for the break. And we broke to the downside. We did the back test, and now we're back testing again here. So very disappointing with a grade A setup in my book. Grade A. And it doesn't mean that, again, we can't rally higher because we're still above support. But it's just such a disappointment when you have a very bullish setup fail. That's never, ever good because people are expecting here and people are accumulating and then, oh no, right? So um, we are holding here. And again, I could believe, I'm quite sure that if that little whatever wedge breaks, we will have something going on for us, and we could see some stage two action. You can see we're trying to break into stage two here. So, but yeah, again, we were waiting for a long time, right? This was 4 years in the making, only to say, nope, not this time. NCX, this one is also, we've looked at that one just recently. It needs to break this blue rail here. Mega resistance here. It needs to break that for further upside. You can see every time we get to there, we're getting bonk hit in the face, right? So big resistance. And until, we break the blue here again, there's nothing really, no entries, no nothing. And you should expect pulling back, sideways action. Um, and again, here your stop, in my view, is this one here because you're having this big rising wedge here. So like that. And they can be insanely profitable, but they are also very difficult to manage. A breakout of a rising wedge, you need to be on it every single day, basically. So yeah, it's doing well. It's still in an uptrend, breaking the previous all-time highs here with a little wind up. So overall, still fine, but you could see a move down to below $1 here, roughly 80 cents, and that needs to hold big time. So, right. SKE, Skeena Resources. This could be a one-liner, not gonna lie. Again, this one there, breaking out, good. Still within this blue here, so I'm fully expecting upon that break, which we have back tested, to reach roughly here, which is $32. And you can see as well, it's also aligning up pretty well with some horizontal resistance as well. Um, so we still have roughly 50% to the upside. Again, I would never buy here this late into the move, but we have 50% in my view. And if we can smash the blue, then it's a total different beast all of a sudden because you're breaking a bear flag to the upside, changing, flipping the entire scenario of it here. Um, but yeah, strong breakout, strong back test, and slowly grinding higher. And you could argue that we do have some sort of uptrend going on for sure. So like that, I think yeah, that's actually quite good on the five. I really like it because it is confirmed. So as long as you are within that, by all means, please remain. So ADM is a agriculture, commodities, milling, whatever that is, paying 4%. So, a nice, solid dividend stock. And just look at the long-term stuff here. Holy smokes, right? 50 years going up, 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 and whew, beautiful bull flag in the making within, as you can see, a quarter of a century channel here. We have three on the bottom. Again, this is again, so it's not fully confirmed. Again, to fully confirm it, you need to have two, right? Then you have the confirmation, and they need to be very precise, right? You can't have, let's say, if that one went to there and went down again here, and this one was touching there, then this golden is not a channel. It's not a channel. So it needs to be extremely precise, which this is. Um, and we peaked in October 2022 and flagging ever since. Beautiful textbook bull flag. Therefore, we fully expect this uh, mega grinding uptrend to continue in the direction that we came. And again, targets will be triangle highs. You're getting 4%. Your stop is below the golden here. It's very clean. And it's very easy to know if you're wrong. Let's say we buy the break. We're going to grind, which is still fine. Oops, then we're out. So we're getting long at roughly 55 and you're getting out at 46. But again, more often than not, when you have a perfect bull flag into a big, big, big back test here or retest, which is holding, it's not the worst thing in the, that you have seen. And we have, I think, three impulses as well. Yeah. So anything north of that bull flag, yeah, long term is looking great. And by long term, I mean, again, you could easily own this one for 5 years, right? If we get the full move to the upper here. Um, yeah, 5 years could be, but again, if we break the lower, you're out. Don't even overthink it at that point in time because we have already have four. One, two, three, four. If we touch on the fifth, be very careful. Again, you can't buy it there, but you have to have your stop below. So it looks fantastic, really. And entry is definitely, in my view, coming up shortly here. And by shortly, I mean monthly candles. So again, within a few months, we are getting the break. VGX, I don't have much for this one. Very thinly traded, even though it's 2.4 billion. Um, and we only have what seems to be like 1 year. I will say this, I fully expect this one to rally above like $3-ish, give or take, because then we're breaking this. I can't do much more in here in my view, but definitely $3 and above, and I'm expecting a lot more upside. I wouldn't touch it until then. So yeah, you can see here 2.9 to 3.06. But again, triple kind of top trend line there. So I'm fully expecting this one to do well above 3. BBLPG, Marine Shipping Norway. This is again a good one from Helle. So what we have here is a big breakout here, a bit grindy in 2023, massive surge, massive retest. And we're still within the 10-year uptrend here. So, and you can see this is confirmed, by the way. This is fully confirmed. It almost tagged there, but it's definitely fully confirmed. I consider that as a back test, even though we haven't really hit it to perfection, but it's still close enough. Of course, if we are gonna go by the books, we still haven't, tagged it there. But I could see this one here have one more move down and then it goes. And if you want to go long, I think this is your trend line to do so. Roughly something like that. Not perfect, but that is most likely your entry. And your stop is below the golden here. So yeah, it looks good. And by looking good, it doesn't mean, hey, you're gonna buy here, because do not buy it here. But wait for this kind of expanding volatility to play out. Um, But I could see one move down here, depending on how low we go, and then most likely we're gonna break. So don't touch it until you break the blue. And ideally, I will say ideally, you get a little bit flush before you go. Yeah. But again, above major resistance, back testing it within an uptrend for like 10 years. So it's not too shabby. Ooh, when I saw this, and I think I've seen it before, I'm crying just a little bit because man, in hindsight, everything is, insanely easy. But if we would have looked at this one at this moment, we would have said you're gonna buy that entry. And it's just, I mean, holy shit, up 35x in basically 1 year, even not even 1 year. And you can see here we have a big resistance line coming up, and if we break that, we're gonna see more. That was just a gift from heaven. Again, I would never have expected this one to go so fast. It did. And you can also see where it stopped, by the way, triangle high. So makes sense. And anything north of like 30, excuse me, 28, 29, it's going to continue. It's again, wow, I wish I would have sprinkled a little bit there. Again, we cannot monitor everything and we cannot, see, follow every single ticker, but that was a beauty. And that is definitely one that I wish heavily we would have seen at that point in time, but it is what it is. That is all. Really great tickers this time. Of course, last time as well, but this time for sure. I think it's very obvious that you were interested as well, and I can see why on most of them because they are very clean, most of them, and it makes sense to have a look at it. So I hope that helped. If not, let me know, guys, in the comments. I try to do my best here, and yeah, have an amazing day as always, guys. Cheers. Bye.